Good morning. Good Shabbos. We're in the middle of the 9 days before Tisha B'Av, started the first of Av, then ends on the ninth of Av. That's the 9 days. The fast of Tisha B'Av, the destruction of the temple, is on Wednesday night and Thursday. It's a 24-hour fast. I think it's the only 24-hour fast we have other than Yom Kippur. And I generally fast for that day. And my religious part of my family doesn't travel on the 9 days. I think for them there's no swimming, at least during the 9 days, maybe since the 17th of Tammuz that we talked about previously. That's the previous month on the 17th, the breaking of the walls, which I interpreted as breaking the walls of the heart, breaking open the walls of the heart. And so on Tisha B'Av, it's a very serious day. It can be a very sad day, remembering many losses for the Jewish people, many tragedies that happened throughout history. And it's also called the beginning, is the birthday, said to be the birthday of Mashiach, birthday of the period of unity. I would say unity with God and creation. So that's the context temporally. But I want to talk about what happened to me this past week and how it relates to mindfulness, meditation, and prayer. So this past week, starting on Tuesday, I was been editing with my producer, editing some compositions that were recorded last September in Scotland. It involved a lot of very close listening with headphones, and prior to that I'd been listening with headphones in preparation for these sessions, and my ears were getting very fatigued. And it was intense concentration for 3 hours, 10 in the morning until 1, as we went through each composition and my notes and anything else we heard that needed to be altered or fixed wherever possible. There are multiple mics throughout the hall, the studio hall, and they can be slightly adjusted to bring this out or bring down this other, or to modify the sound of the recording, not the performance, but just the balances. So I found myself very tired every afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My ears were exhausted. I could feel the tiredness in my ears, and I was really getting concerned about my ears, which I rely on. We all rely on our ears, and especially in music. So I used that time to meditate and pray, and being mindful figured in because I was able to tune in to, first of all, I could recognize that my ears were tired. So that's mindful, right? I recognized and not avoid the sensation of being tired in my ears. And then in meditation, I found that a strong desire to go deeply into meditation, strong desire to settle down the mind and just heal, just to heal, just through the really intensity of meditation. I'm focusing intensely on the breath with the prayer for healing my ears, and I knew as my whole body was exhausted, so healing that the whole body was needed a lot of napping, more than I preferred, but succumbing to the need of the body to rest. And um, and I found some of the I meditated during the night. If I would wake up, I would meditate. Early morning, I would be meditating, which is a very quiet time, known to be a quiet time for meditation, according to many meditators throughout the centuries, like 3 a.m. or between 12 and 3. This really quiet time in the night can be a preferred time. If you wake up in the middle of the night or the early morning, it's a quiet time for meditation. So I would, in these times, I would really focus on the breath, like life or death, focus on the breath. And there's a saying in the Buddhist world, meditate like your hair's on fire. Really concentrate on the breath, every part of going in and out of the breath, and that would kind of lead me into a state of deeper meditation by really concentrating on that. And then at one point, which I was able to maintain for a while, I could focus on my ears. This is again mindfulness and meditation and intense prayer, intense yearning for healing. I could actually feel like the bones in my ears, one of them adjusting, and then I could kind of feel the energy going to the hairs. I imagined this, but it kind of felt like it was happening. The little hairs, the minute hairs in the ears that send signals to the brain, I can imagine those and feeling them. I'm just receiving this just healing energy. So this is why I'm linking the mindfulness with the awareness of the body, and also following the needs of the body in spite of other urges, and the meditation, the intense or intention for intense focusing. We can't always control how the mind works, but intention of intense focus, and the prayer, the strong desire for healing, the strong prayer for healing, really, and the emotional prayer for healing. So turning the fear into healing energy. And I think it's interesting that during these 9 days, it was what was going on, because in these preparatory 9 days before the fast day, it's a very intense time. It's considered dangerous to move around from town to town, and like the traveling or flying. And that tells me that it's an intense time for teshuvah, for repentance, or whatever, how you want to translate that. And it supports, the time actually supports this kind of intensity. So with that, I'll time us for 30 minutes. And, you can just see if any of this is helpful for you in those 30 minutes, if it's helpful for focus, kind of renewed focus. So I'll start the timer. And check back with you in 30 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. That was kind of an intense introduction. And I found that in the beginning of my sit, um, my mind was a little less focused, wandering. And then I said, well, why aren't, let's see if you can follow your own instructions, your own urging, and go deeper. So it did help me to go deeper. Um, and I hope it helped you to go deeper. The one thing I want to share, I had found, I think I mentioned another time that at one point I kind of found like I was going deep and it felt like a bedrock. Like reminded me of the Grand Canyon. When I went to the Grand Canyon, we went there and I was actually able to touch the rock, the bedrock of the Earth's crust. And it was very moving for me. So I kind of felt like there was something similar inside. But today I decided, well, or I wondered, why is it a rock? Why can't it? It's just an image. It can be a place that can be softened and open to. So that was interesting and illuminating. So I wish you a safe 9 days, the rest of the 9 days, and that your prayers will be answered. Your prayers, your deepest heart's desires, that you will feel God's presence and constant companionship throughout whatever struggles that we encounter. Just remember to turn to God. That's prayer. Turn to going inside with meditation and turn to mindfulness. Like, what are you feeling really right now? As Thich Nhat Hanh says, no coming, no going, no after, no before. In other words, right now. Right now is where we live. Blessings and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining me.